All right, let's go to Jeremiah in Los Angeles, California.
I've been with my wife for 14 years, 12 married. Found out last year that she was kind of having an affair with somebody at our local gym here.
Hey, can I stop you right there?
Yeah, sure.
What does kind of having an affair mean?
Well, I guess to me, I'm thinking of it as like a physical or more of a emotional than a physical. So I just say kinda. So,
okay, don't say if it was a violation of y'all's boundaries. Don't say kinda. Let's just call it what it is. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
She was having an affair.
Okay.
With a guy at the gym, and it was probably, going on for about 6 months. I kind of had an inkling to it, before I found out officially. But I mean, it was just kind of in the back of my head. But officially found out last year for sure that it was going on, and so it's been a year since then when I found out. And just things right now are rocky. We're trying to work it out. Well, I guess I'm trying to work it out, but really it just seems like a one-way street with us. I'm trying everything here, and I've never reached out to anybody else besides, my brother, family, stuff like that. But, I saw your program on YouTube, and, I was listening to it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Dr. John.
Man.
And that's where we're at.
I appreciate your trust, brother.
Definitely.
And it's just important to acknowledge. I know we hear about this all the time, but this sucks, man. I'm sorry this happened to you, man.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
So when you and your wife sat down and talked about this, I don't know if you saw text messages or you saw she was sending him photos or something like that. You find out, then you sit down and have the conversation. What was the conversation like?
So conversation was, I found out at work, with the text messages, actually from the guy's wife that she was seeing. So I got the text messages. I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, no, this is fake. I didn't know the number. I'm just put everything behind me. I'm like, no, that's not real. And then they sent the text messages back and forth, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, my world just crashed.
Well, yeah, dude. So you talked to your wife. You talked to your wife. How does that go, man? Of course, yeah, your heart's broken. You don't even know what day it is, right? You're not eating.
Yeah.
How'd that conversation go?
For the most part, I came home early that day, and I took her by the hand, and my daughter was in the room. So I said, let's go to the back. I got to ask you something. And, I was real level-headed, cool. I wasn't, angry or anything. I wanted to just, hear it from her. Like, is this for real? Like, I showed her the text messages and everything. And, like I told you before, I kind of had an inkling. So when I saw those, I just was like, oh my God, oh my goodness, I can't believe this right now.
Yeah.
So, she was very dismissive about it. Just like, oh no, he's just a friend, and then after we talked about it a little more, it's like other things start coming out, like, oh, he's my best friend. I can talk to him a lot. And mind you, he's a stay-at-home dad himself, and she's a stay-at-home mom, which she has been for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just was in shock, Dr. John.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
My heart was in 1,000 pieces. I'm over there trying to pick it up, trying to put it back together. And that's what I feel like I've been doing the last year. And it just doesn't seem like it's going anywhere.
So her first response was denial and a lie. When did she circle up and finally admit, like, yeah, I've been seeing this dude?
I would say probably like a couple weeks after we had, we were having conversations all the time about it.
Yeah.
And, it just, she just finally said, like, one day, like, like he's my best friend. Like, I just want to see him all the time. And it just that was another killer. It's like, how do you say that this guy's your best friend when I'm your husband and we're supposed to be best friends? We're supposed to be the ones talking all the time.
Were y'all was this a total shock to you? Or were y'all having problems in your marriage? Have y'all talked about being distant in the past?
No. That was another thing is like, I always felt like our relationship was very close. We're always honest with each other. We're always talking to each other. And then, for this to come about, it just was, like I said, a total shocker. I just couldn't wrap my head around it, honestly.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry, dude. So, so why do you want to stay in this relationship, man?
Because I love her. She's the love of my life. I've been with her for 14 years. We have 2 beautiful girls together. And we both come from broken marriages.
Yeah.
My mom and dad got divorced when I was when I was 18, and she didn't have her dad, pretty much most of her life. So,
Mm-hmm.
And he still isn't a part of her life to this day.
Jeez. So when you say she's not invested, she has no interest in staying. Is she telling you I want to be divorced?
She's brought it up a couple times, but the trigger's never been pulled on it. She's talked about separating. You know, I just don't feel the same way about you. You know, I feel like we're on two separate paths, and it's like, you know, I've always been on the same path, Dr. John. I work, you know, all the time to provide for the family. You know, that's my role as a man. I feel like, you know, I came from that type of background. And, you know, I don't know if it's some type of resentment she holds towards me because I get to leave every day and leave her with the kids, or what it is.
So I'm going to tell you this, Jeremiah. You're going to make yourself stone insane trying to get inside her head and figure out why she's thinking the way she's thinking.
Right.
Okay. And when we get hurt or we get scared or we get out of control, that's a temptation, man. It's to get into, I know why they did that because of X. Man, you're going to make yourself nuts. You know what I mean? And there's probably 1,000 different things. And what I'll tell you is it's a fool's errand. You're never going to fully get there. And you're just you're going to drive yourself mad. So here's the, man, man.
Get me straight, Dr. John.
Yeah, I'm going to. Here's the thing. You can't change her mind.
Right.
She's an adult, and she's going to have to make that decision. What this tension is and what this back and forth is and what this, I don't know, on her end. And the tension you feel in your own house, walking around eggshells in your own house. And my guess is it probably vacillates between, this is my damn house, I'm going to be who I want to be. And then also you're on eggshells because you want to make her mad. And then you're starting to feel yourself lose it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you talk to yourself, you have these pep talks on the way home, your heart rate gets up, you get kind of fired up about it. And then the next day you're going to bring flowers and you're just going to start spinning yourself out. So there's the important part of just y'all being adults, right? And I know I'm talking, this is a pot talking to the kettle here, but two adults have got to get in a room and have this conversation. But there's a reason underneath that. You need to have this conversation because y'all need to have this conversation, right? You just need to make some decisions. But I'm going to tell you right now, you are not passively influencing your daughters. You are affirmatively hurting them, okay?
Okay.
They are absorbing this tension. They are absorbing your back and forth, your wife's indifference, whatever she's saying about you when you're not there, her staring at her phone all day while they're in her presence or not in her, all of that stuff they're absorbing. And here's the deal, brother. They are in their little minds. How old are they?
10 and 6.
Oh gosh. Yeah. And they're 10 and 6-year-old. That's about the age of my kids. Every interaction with their parents, every bit of tension they are absorbing as their fault, and they're going to spend their life trying to fix it.
My goodness. It's not a good thing.
No, it's not. All of that tension, all of that ambiguity, frustration, they absorb. And sometimes kids try to solve that through being perfect. Sometimes kids solve that through addiction. They solve that through one relationship after another. They solve that through they go on religious walkabouts, whatever that may be, but they spend their life chasing that down. Very similar situation you find yourself in, right?
Yeah, and definitely.
All that to say is this. You have got to have a hard conversation in a respectful, kind, dignified way. Because there is a chance that your wife is a terrible, terrible wife and an extraordinary mom. She might be a great mom to these girls. Does she love those kids?
Oh yeah, she does. She's a great mother. I'll never take that away from her. She's the best mom. She is.
Well, just like I said to the first caller, man, we need more guys like you in the world. I appreciate your heart here. My guess is this is probably a long time coming, and whether you missed it or whether your wife was highly deceptive, usually it's both. And something sneaks up on people or something doesn't sneak up on people. Whatever it happens to be, I need you to go to your wife and say, listen, for the sake of our daughters, they're absorbing this. This is rewriting in their hearts what relationships look like, what relationships feel like, and they are taking all of this tension on their hearts. We can't do that to our daughters. We've got to make some decisions in this house. And I love you. I want to be your husband. I'll go to the ends of the earth to figure out how to make this work. Please don't give up on us. Let's go get a marriage therapist. Let's go all in, right? And let her make a decision.
Yeah.
And I know that's a scary thing because there's a reality that she's going to say, I'm opting for not you. And that's real scary, right?
It is. Very.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That's, that's all in, man. And it sounds like does she care about you?
She says she does.
Okay. Obviously, but, I mean, behavior, I mean, the affair nonetheless. Is she still in touch with this dude? Are they still interacting, talking all the time?
No, they're not talking at all. Actually, the day after I found out, we went and changed her phone number and all that kind of stuff. So she said she hasn't been in contact with him at all since then. Also, too, if I could just mention it, like with our sleeping arrangements and stuff, she's out on the couch.
Okay.
I'm in the bed by myself. Intimacy's at a nothing. None of that's going on.
When's the last time y'all slept together?
Like slept together or sexually?
Sexually, yeah.
It's probably been about like a month and a week.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. When's the last time you sat down and said we just need to have a grown-up, intimate, direct conversation with one another? Just
actually the other day, honestly.
How'd it go?
It went better than I thought.
Okay.
I sat down, I talked to her. I let her know that I was in contact with you guys with your show.
Sure.
And I let her know that Wednesday I'm going to be talking to, Dr. John. He's a counselor, stuff like that. So I let her know that I'm reaching out there to try and make this work.
Sure. Have y'all gone to see a marriage therapist? Have y'all gone? She won't go?
No, she won't go.
Okay.
We've had that conversation. She's like, well, what are they going to tell us? And I was like, well, they'll tell us what we need to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I was saying it's like a one-way street with this relationship. It seems like right now it's like, I want to reach out. I want to save it. But it just doesn't seem like she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to save it.
Does she want you to be the bad guy here? Does she want you to be the guy that breaks it off? What's keeping her from walking out the door?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. And I think that's what she wants is for me to make the decision. I said, you know what? No, this is your decision. I am not making the decision because I don't want to make that decision. I don't want to leave the relationship. I want to be with you. I love you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think she's waiting for that. That's why she's, we're not sexually active anymore. Maybe she's holding out on me for that reason. I have no idea.
See, again, don't get in her head, man, okay? You're going to make yourself bananas. Yep. There's 1,000 different reasons why intimacy happens and doesn't happen and all that.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to her. If she'll call the show, I'd love to talk to her to get her what's going on in her heart and mind if she would. But all I have to say is this. Mm-hmm. If she won't have an adult conversation, and she did, if she won't make an adult decision for you, for herself, you'll have to make some decisions for your daughters, okay?
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later. And my hope, I'm the most naively optimistic guy on the planet, and I'm not naive about it. I've seen people come back from so many different brinks, come over so many obstacles because they fight and they claw and they say, I'm not giving up on this thing. I thought this marriage was an ash, and we're gonna redraw it. We're gonna rebuild it, and we're gonna create something better and new and different. It's not gonna be the old thing that we just reconstruct. We're gonna do something remarkable. I've seen it over and over and over. I've had moments in my marriage, dude, that I was like, oh man, things going down. It's going down. And we hung on and we rebuilt something new. We're still rebuilding something new. And I think every marriage is continually rebuilding and adding and growing. I've got high hopes for you, man. But
I do as well. But my hopes are very high.
She's got to. Y'all got to make a decision sooner rather than later for those girls. So here's my challenge to you: do what I just said. Sit down with her and have that hard conversation on behalf of your daughters, on behalf of you, on behalf of her. She's killing herself, man. She's got to make a decision, and you can let her know equivocally, I will not end this marriage. Period. But we've got to fix this. I want you back and sleep in the bed with me. I want you to, we go to a marriage counselor. You know what they're going to give you? Tools They're going to help you have hard conversations with one another, tell the truth with one another, be open. You may hear things I promise, you will hear things about you over the last decade that you don't like, that you didn't even know you were doing. But you're going to hear them, man. That's what a marriage counselor will do, to give her a place to be fully honest and open with you. And there'll be a referee there, but also be someone who's going to teach you. A teacher is going to give you guys some tools y'all can work on and rebuild this thing from the floor up. But those little girls are hanging in the balance, man. They're hanging in that tension, and they're absorbing every second of it, man. So the last thing is, man, I'd love her to call the show. I will move her to the front of the line if she'll call the show, and or shoot me an email. Or go to johndelony.com/show. Let her know that she's Jeremiah's wife, and we'll move her to the front of the show. I'd love to hear her perspective on this. She's probably not going to, but I'd love to hear from her. But, man, we're thinking about you, and let me know how that conversation goes. Let me know what that final decision is. Shoot me a note back, and we'll let the listeners know how things played out. Don't give in to despair, Jeremiah. Don't give in to treating her less than with dignity and respect, because at the end of the day, that's just going to bring you down and drown you. So it sounds like you've taken the high road on this thing. Continue to, even if you get the worst of worst news that she's moving out and the thing's over. Continue to think about those girls. Continue to think about what you can bring to the table as a person of integrity and dignity, and treat your wife with respect, regardless of how this thing plays out. She's still the mother of your kids. I hate that, man. Ugh.